It's Losi's first release for the year, and it's a mini no prep drag car based on the 22 platform. And I'm actually really excited about it because this looks like some affordable fun. Let's start off by taking a look at the car itself. It has a 1970 Chevelle body, licensed by GM, available in two colors, the blue and black. And it's actually a 4-piece body. There's also molded front and rear bumpers that have been chromed, a chrome grille, and there's LED light buckets in the front and rear already fitted with LEDs. I really like the look of the body, cowl hood, chrome around the windows, racing stripe down the side, and the spoiler out back looks pretty trick. All right, let me pop the body off really quick so you can see underneath. It is held on with 4 body clips, and there are the LED wires. Everything is nicely taped to the body so it doesn't bounce around. Here's the Chevelle next to the 110 scale Camaro. I think it's a pretty good size for a mini car. Let me know what you think about this scale in the comment section below. Now we can dive into the Mini 22 platform. This is 16 scale and shares a lot of parts with the Mini T and Mini B, but there's a bunch of new stuff on here that we need to take a look at, starting with the aluminum plate chassis. It looks like the buggy in the front, but it's been extended in the rear, and that accommodates the wheelbase of the Chevelle body. But with these additional holes here, you could adjust the wheelbase for aftermarket mini bodies. Up top, we've got new rails along the side, and you could actually move these little tabs around and adjust the battery position so you can adjust weight bias. So if you want more rear weight, you can move the battery back and move the tabs forward to keep it secure. On the side, we've got Nerf wings to help support the body. Up front, there's a new bumper that goes up to these heavy-duty body mounts. These are actually 1/10 scale size. Same with the rear body mounts. And let me spin this around so you can see this wheelie bar. It has this tie rod for adjustability, and there's bearings in the wheels. Next, we should take a look at the suspension because there's some changes here. We don't have swept arms anymore. These are now straight arms, and they're a bit narrower to fit the width of the body. The shock tower is the same as the Mini T, but the shocks have been revised. They're a little bit shorter. They have a new part number, and there's new springs on here. And of course, they've got shorter tie rods as well to accommodate the shorter arms. The rear suspension also gets shorter arms and shorter tie rods, but the shocks are still the same, and it has a Mini B rear tower. Next up, we have the transmission, which pretty much remains unchanged. There's a gear diff inside, ball bearings. It does have steel outdrive, steel dog bones that are a bit shorter, and then the steel axles. However, there's a crush spacer between the two bearings, so when you tighten down the wheels, it doesn't pinch the bearings. Another change made to the transmission is they now have a new motor plate, which allows the motor to sit a little bit lower, and a new gear cover to accommodate that. And then under the gear cover is a small revision to the slipper. They now have a little bit of texture to them, and this will hold up better in this drag car application. And this is a new waterfall spanning from the transmission to the chassis. The steering is the same swinging rack with adjustable tie rods, but they've revised the servo saver, which is really good to see. It's now a spring-loaded style servo saver, and it mounts to this SX107 servo, which means we might as well get into the electronics. Behind that servo is an SLR 300 receiver, really good receiver that mates up to the SLT2 radio. I'll show you in a second. Behind that is the 800 milliamp LiPo battery pack. And then to power this beast, we have a Spectrum 2-in-1 6000 kV brushless combo. It's the speed controller and motor combined in one unit. Here is the on-off switch up front. It's fitted with an IC2 plug, and this should give the car plenty of power to motor down the strip. Finally, we can talk about the wheels and tires. Out back, we've got these Mickey Thompson ET drag slicks. These feel a little bit sticky right out of the box. They've got foam inserts. They're glued to these semi-chrome 5-star wheels, and up front we have a rib-style drag tire. The Mini No Prep drag car is a complete ready to run. They give you absolutely everything you need. They give you a Spectrum SLT2 radio system, batteries for the radio, the 800 milliamp LiPo battery pack, a USB charger, of course the assembled car, instruction manual, decals, some basic tools, and then in these two bags here, we've got rear toe blocks, and these are the long body mounts in case you want to swap out bodies. Now it's time to measure out an 82.5 foot drag strip and have some fun. All right guys, we got the track set up, and it's freezing today. It's like 27 degrees, it's windy. It's like really the only day that's gonna be good to go drag racing according to the weather. I've got the car set up. I've got the carpet to heat up the tires on as best I could. I've got my brother Jeff here, he's gonna help, so let's get to this. Front, for easy of use, we'll do 3, 2, 1, go. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Go. Despite the nasty weather, we got some racing and some testing in on the Chevelles, and I'm happy to report these things are a blast to drive. I honestly wasn't sure what to expect with the smaller size and the shorter drag strip, but it's still plenty of fun. There's some driving element to it. They do hook up really well out of the hole. We got some heat in the tires, and even with the cold surface, they still took off really well. Really good acceleration, but there's a little bit of driving, there's a little bit of steering wander. Now, these things are actually tough. As you guys saw, my brother, who has not picked up a car in probably 20 years, hit the cone at the end that was filled with tools, so the cone wouldn't blow away. The car took a nasty tumble and nothing broke on this. It was 27 degrees, which is below freezing, so they are tough. I went out for some additional testing with the GNSS and recorded a bunch of runs with it, and each time was about 32 miles an hour in 2.5 seconds. It was very consistent, and that was for about the first 5 to 6 passes. And when the battery pack would get down to about 50%, I did notice once in a while the car would cut out and it would just drop off. And that may be because it was just so cold out, the battery couldn't discharge quick enough to power the system. So I'm not sure I could really count anything against the car without some additional testing, but I did want to share my entire experience with you guys. So they're fast, they're fun, they're quick, they're easy to find a space to go and drive. I think these things are going to be a pretty big hit. I think people are going to really enjoy these cars for, at the very least, some friendly competitions. I'll have links in the video description below for them. You can find out some additional information on the website. And I actually already have a follow-up video planned for this, so make sure you hit the subscribe button.